Here is the link in the comments, and come join us if you would like. We do these weekly, and this is the first time we're trying it on a Tuesday night. So, sending out the link to the folks that need it, and if you want to come join us, that'd be fantastic. Sending out the link to folks. Welcome, Tally. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good. Let me mute the Facebook feed so that we're not hearing an echo.
Let me change my glasses. I can't see.
I see we got Kurt coming in too. Welcome, Kurt. Great to
Evening.
see you. Evening. Good evening. Facebook decided to make me jump through a few extra hurdles tonight to make the call happen, but it seems to have worked. So,
Is that what happened? Okay.
well, you guys are never on exactly at 7 anyway, so that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on? It's been a while, Telly. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, man, it's good to see y'all. I've been stretched out, man, working, coming in late, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. You're out there, putting up the houses and lifting those trusses and ooh.
Yeah, we just lost the crane operator. He went on vacation and didn't come back. So yes. So I'm like, okay, so I'm left solo.
Yeah.
Well,
That's got to be rough because finding somebody who's available and who knows what they're doing,
mhm.
uh, especially this time of year, folks want to go out for Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. So you just have to deal with it.
So, curious, we just had Thanksgiving last week, and in the process of going through Black Friday and Cyber Monday and whole 9 yards, you guys get any great CNC deals or anything that you just had to have? Hey, Scott.
I I haven't bought anything. I'm looking to buy another 3D printer. Um, but I'm kind of on the fence of what to get. I'm waiting for Bamboo Lab to come out with a larger format. That's what I'm really waiting on.
Oh, larger than the carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but right now I've been looking at the FL Sun, so which is the Delta type, which I really like. I like that. I guess I like the mechanical of the Delta.
That's the three.
Yeah, the three
Yeah.
arms. Yeah. So I'm really fascinated about it. And it's 2 times faster than the Bamboo. So I was thinking about pulling the trigger and just buying that and just having it in my collection and then wait for Bamboo to come out with a larger one.
Yeah.
And then just buy that one.
Makes for tall prints, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
think you could do 14 inches. It's 14 inches by let's see, 12, 13, 14 by 16 and a half or something like that. Yeah. But it's really, I mean, I don't know how long they've been out, but I just saw a lot of content, on YouTube about them, like from last month. And hey, buddy, come here. And they start talking about them. This is my grandnephew.
Hey there, young
Hey,
man.
hey, look,
Hey.
say hello, Legan. Say
Hey,
hi.
gang.
Hi.
Hey, Lynn.
Give him a high
Yeah,
five.
look.
High five.
He don't know what to think.
Yeah. Who are all
He's
these old guys? Yeah.
he's a button pusher. Oh, I gotta watch him. He's a button
Uh-huh.
pusher. He like anything that lights up.
when my son was about that age, he was just getting to the point where he could walk around on his own and do everything. He'd like to crawl up in my lap. And one day I was formatting my I was backing up my hard drive. This was back in the old days where you had like a DOS-based program with
Right.
keyboard shortcuts. And he hops up on the chair and he bams the keyboard. And it started wiping my hard drive.
Oh
instead of
my
backing it
goodness.
up. I ended up pulling the plug on the power just because there was
Stop it.
get it stopped. Never did recover all that data. I felt like crying. In fact, I probably did. Anyway, it had all the designs for my model airplane business, all the whole 9 yards and everything. I was backing it up because the drive was getting full. Anyway, luckily only the file allocation table was wiped. And so I was able to get most of the files out by just re-editing names of some files.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But that was a lot of DOS-based stuff back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a button pusher. He comes in and he just anything that lights up or he can push, he press it.
Did you say his name is Liam?
Legan.
Legan.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter had her baby on the 26th, so that was a week ago today.
Yeah.
And his name is Liam. His real name is William, but he's gonna go by Liam. So yeah, pretty cool.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's nice. They're amazing. When they reach that age and they go to tinkling around,
Everything's new and everything goes in the mouth.
Yep.
Yep.
Like we have my wife has a little dolly. It's like a short. It's probably maybe about a 24-inch dolly. Has the handle on and everything. He saw that. He learned how to pick the handle and he just go pushing around. He put boxes on it. He just was pushing around, vroom vroom. I said, yeah. So yeah, they're amazing when they be that age and learning.
Yeah. I just
You're
got
talking about large scale format printers. Have you looked at the Legu?
Yes, 48. That's what they call it, the giga something.
I'm not sure. The one I was looking at them a while back, about a year ago. So I was looking at the 3D Max.
How large is that? The 3D
I
Max.
think it would do it 21-inch high print.
Oh, okay. I know they have one that do 48. It's 48 by 48.
I think it was 16 by 16 by 21 or something, somewhere along in there. And it was reasonably. It was only like for probably $500 time you got it shipped.
That's not bad.
No, it ain't.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. One of the things I wonder about when they start building those larger format printers is whether they also update the nozzle size so that you can print a bigger bead.
They should.
Yeah, I think Elego has a larger nozzle size you can put on it on the hot end, and it'll print a fairly decent sized bead.
Yeah,
I know
because
mine. I can go to what is it? A 0.6. I want to say 0.6 millimeter. Is it a 0.6 or 0.06 millimeter? I want to say because I think the standard is a 0.04.
yeah, back in the day when I started with 3D printers with a MakerBot,
Oh
you
yeah.
had to build the whole thing out of plywood and rails and stuff. It was
Right.
quite something, but they used a much bigger filament and they used a bigger nozzle back in the day. And then progressively they got smaller and smaller on the nozzles and you get very beautiful prints, very fine detail. But you lose that print speed where they can put out a lot of plastic at a time. Let me see if this is Ned here trying to get me on Messenger.
Yeah, they have man, they have came a long ways now. So everybody now is, they're coming up with the fast speed and everything. And um now you can almost pretty much buy any printer right now and pretty much get satisfactory prints out of them. Especially when it came to the auto bed leveling and
Hmm.
LiDAR system, um, the flow calibration, those sorts. Because at first, with the glass bed and manually trying to set the bed, that became a headache.
Hmm.
And the prints was like really slow. So now they go into servo motors and they go into um closed loop stepper motors.
Yeah. It was inevitable. They got cheap enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
A friend of mine was looking at one called the K1C printer.
Creality. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was like 449
Mm-hmm.
on sale Black Friday. Um, Enclosed printer, so you could do
Right.
carbon and that sort of thing. But yeah, anyway, just
Yeah, now they
there's a
got
lot of different
K2,
choices now.
the K2 plus.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which is, I mean, fairly decent.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think the bamboo is still on the top. Like as far as the FL Sun is really there with it. I mean, as far as the speed wise and everything, I've been looking at a lot of reviews. Um, if they make it where it has the automatic color changing, it would definitely be a competitor with the bamboo.
Hmm.
But as far as the quality and everything, I was looking at it, I was like, that's a pretty good printer. And right now it's like $1,000, $999 right now. So, but I like that Delta design.
Hmm. Well, once Bamboo Labs came out with theirs, everybody else started changing up to get more speed
Hmm.
and the multiple colors and everything, because almost all 3D printer creation is done open source. So, you know, in certain parts of it, they have to put out the license, so anybody can just go ahead and make their own
Right.
after that. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting watching what they're doing. I'm not even sure MakerBot's even still a player in the home 3D printer market. I think they went more towards commercial end of things, but
Okay.
I don't know. I know they've been sold a couple times, and the founder got paid when oh, fairly well when he sold that. So he started another tool company called Bantam Tools,
Oh yeah.
and they make a little tiny desktop CNC mill.
Right.
Yeah. So
Hey, come on in. I'm finna go. Yeah. Oh, say I'm on the Zoom call. That's me, right? Yeah. Come on here. Guess what I have here? Yeah, that. I got him.
hey, sir, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah,
How you been doing?
good. It's multi-generational this time. We've seen it, the grandnephew, and now you. We're doing good.
Yeah, we got the whole, what, three generations here. Hmm.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. You talking about 3D printer? Oh, 3D printer? Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's gonna be the thing now. Huh? Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
You already
Yeah.
houses with them. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. At him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got someone going. Yeah. Yeah. Come on in, man. You ready? Oh, this is my. Hold on. Oh, we got a big surprise here. Come here, Khalil. We got all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on in. That's my nephew.
Hey.
That's his son. That's my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to your uncle. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's because he listened to his dad, who knew what he was doing.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all finna leave? Yeah, we got that out. Give me a moment, Bill.
All right. We'll take
Nice
you.
meeting you, that
It
Bill.
was nice seeing y'all.
Yeah, I talked to Ned last night, and he got my computer straightened out for me. I think I haven't had any issues with it since. So
Excellent.
he's
Yeah,
he's right there on the spot now. I'll tell you, he knows his stuff.
yeah, he's very good. He helped me with the networking routers that I bought for the shop. Those not only are they good, but they were inexpensive. That's a hard to beat combination.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
He also helped me out with doing trying to set up a collaboration network on OneDrive with a guy I work with in Canada, and he helped me out a lot on that. Gave me a bunch of tips on using OneDrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Shut the door in there. Yeah, there's a lot of good talent in this group. I wish that more of the members would take time and come on because I think they could learn something and I think they could share something. But you know, we get, 5, 6 people sometimes, 7, 8. So I haven't heard anybody complain that they're wasting their time here.
I look forward to it. I
Me
mean,
too.
you learn a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate all y'all changing the night up with me. That allow me to do 2 projects that are both near and dear to my heart. But the thing that we are doing on Wednesday, we had access in a local school, and they changed all the scheduling for access, and so they moved us to Wednesday night so that we were able to still use that facility. But I was like, yeah, no problem. Wednesday night. No, I'm not. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Wednesday night. Yeah. So that's really only go through the spring. So if we need to change at some point, or if this night is not working out for people, then whatever. We'll get it there. But it's nice. It's nice that you guys were flexible. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm open anytime. I mean, I don't have a whole lot going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, it's been quite a week for me. Quite a week for me. Holding getting the chance to hold the grandbaby at the hospital, and everything, and then finding out that uh, he's a namesake. That was
Yeah.
a real cool surprise. They kept that one close to the vest. Yeah. Um, but it's really cool because William is a family name here and on their side, so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Um, but yeah, been quite a week, and yeah, I'm riding high on this, so this is pretty cool.
This your first grand?
Yeah. Well, in actuality, it is my second, but this is the first that made it.
All right.
So yeah, a couple of years ago, they tried and uh, just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I'm so
A
happy for
rainbow
them now.
child.
Yep.
We got my youngest daughter is a rainbow child. That's what my wife calls her.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
actually gave her a middle name of Grace.
Mm. That's a good middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my kids live in the farmhouse that my son-in-law's parents own, and the the his parents are in their 80s and everything, but they made a nice little garden out back and everything, and to kind of memorialize the situation, and it's pretty cool. And their plan was, well, when they have another child, the child can play out here in the garden, and and it's kind of cool. So yeah. um their farmhouse has like deer just walking up,
Oh,
birds, the whole
nice.
night. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
like my yard. Same thing. We had what day that was? Oh, that was Thanksgiving Day. It was
Hmm.
Thanksgiving morning. We had 10 deers out in the yard, and three of them were bucks.
Hmm.
Yep, just
Yeah.
roaming the yard.
Yeah. Well, it's deer hunting season now, so if the bucks are coming out,
This is
they're not going back.
well, my property is a safe haven. You can't come on here with no
Hmm.
firearms. Call yourself hunting. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything coming my property line is off limits unless it's a bobcat, which
Yeah.
we have them because they
Yeah.
like
Bobcats down there. I didn't know that.
yeah we have bobcats, man. They like to kill my. I got two on camera. One actually taking one of my chickens off, and then one running away after he tried to attack one of my chickens.
Chickens, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
That's
have a
better
lot
than.
of bobcats around here, but you very rarely ever see them.
Oh, they stealthy now. They
Yeah.
very stealthy, and they don't make any noise or anything when they come.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You can walk right on top of them; they won't even move.
No, they
Yeah.
hard to detect.
I don't know if we have bobcats here in New York, but we probably do. Just not around here. Mostly we worry about coyotes and
Oh yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Bear.
we started getting a lot of coyotes. We got a bunch of them. They got an open season on them around here.
Oh
Hmm.
really?
Yeah, they want you to shoot them, kill
Okay.
them, because there's so many of them. They're invasive.
Now I got to see if there's bobcat in New York. Uh, anyway, we're off topic again.
That's all right. That's fine. Yeah.
Kurt, how is the trailer coming?
It's under a foot of snow right now.
Mm.
So it's been preserved.
Hmm.
Yeah, as soon as Tanya goes off to work to Japan, I'm going to move it to the garage, because she won't be here to see it happen.
Gotcha. Uh,
Once it's in the garage and she comes home, it's a done deal. So you know how it is.
hmm Yeah, you
But
never
it's
put
just it's almost done. You just got to get to it.
what kind of lighting are you going to put in there?
What kind of what?
Lighting.
Oh, LED. Yeah, I got all LED installed. I ripped out all the other stuff, the old style, put in all new LED lights.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, much nicer battery draw and everything.
much brighter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. On my milling machine, um, the Tormach milling machine, when I got it, they had these, those silver cone shaped lights that they have, like, yeah. So they
Mhm.
had like four of those, four or five, I can't remember, four in the top of the cabinet in this thing with regular conventional light bulbs and a little plexiglass cover to prevent the coolant from going up there and ruining them. And that was dim. It was very dim um, looking, and so I got some strip LEDs and put it up inside of there, and that was cool. Except it was blue. It said it was white, but it actually was giving off blue light inside of there. So I did that for about a month or so, and I said, "Nah, there's got to be another way." And I went to Lowe's. This is 6 years ago, so this was a new thing then. Uh, so I went to Lowe's and started looking around, and they had replacement light bulbs for incandescent bulbs, and they had one that was called daylight.
Mhm.
And I said, let me put it in there. So I got a set of those, and they weren't cheap back then. I think they were like $15 a bulb or something like that
Mhm.
back then. Now I can get them for 5, 4, whatever. It's dirt
Right.
cheap. But I put those in there. It was like the sun came up inside of that machine. I could now see everything. It was perfect. So whenever I get to this upgrade on my router, I'm going to put some daylight strips
Mm-hmm.
underneath the gantry just to light up everything beneath the spindle so that it's bright. That's my son. Hang on, guys. You keep talking amongst yourselves.
So any other new projects been going on?
I haven't had any. Working on finalizing a showroom for that shop that I used to work at. I was
Okay.
going over the cabinets and stuff and checking them out. The designer wanted me to critique it, make sure everything was right, because it was one that she drew right after she got started, and the guy that was training her passed away, so he didn't have an opportunity to go over it behind her. So she asked me if I'd do it, and I said sure.
Okay.
But that's about all I've been working on.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm doing some Christmas props. I'm working on some Christmas props. I have a snowman that I'm getting ready to build, an elf and a sled, and I'm doing like a 5 foot, 4 foot, and a 3 foot Christmas tree.
wow.
Yeah, so I'll be doing that and getting that ready around. It's gonna be about Christmas time. They're gonna do these parties and stuff like that. So I've been designing and gathering the materials to start getting ready to cut them out.
I've been thinking about trying to get that chest that you see in my background set up to build. I've never actually built it, but I've got it pretty much drawn up. What I was wondering is there a way in VCarve or Vectric or something that you could get the outline cutter to follow that uh curve on the top there in the Z direction? In other words, start low, go up, and then come back down in that cathedral shape. Or does it just have to go straight? You just have to have a cutter because that's like 3 3/4 inches tall there.
You
Oh, so
you're
you
talking
want
about
to?
the arch at the top of the
Yeah, do a outline after it cuts out the shape. Because I think I want to do like wood blanks or wood like 2 inch, take the 2 inch thick material and cut that shape out of a bunch of them and use dowels to index them. And I was wondering if there was a way to cut the outline and not have to use a real long cutter to cut it out like that. If you could get the Z to go up and down and do a cutout. I didn't know if there was I know there's the flute toolpath, but I don't know if that would work. I don't know how, I'm
okay.
not that familiar with it.
Okay, why don't you design the box in 3D and just use the slice command inside of
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
VCarve? Just since it's 2 inch foam that you want to use, lay it all out in the 2 inch foam and just cut you out these rectangles with the arch on the top of them. Stack them together. You can even put in the index holes and everything. Um, and it would nest it. It would do everything. I mean, it's simple. There was a guy who built a shark, a 3-dimensional shark using slicing. There's Mike Giancarelli built the Hulk that way. Um, Somebody
Yeah,
did even the Voyager Starship Voyager um, that way.
and the way I was thinking about doing it is basically the same way. Just cut the blanks out, the individual pieces out in the shape of the top,
Hmm.
and then you know dowel them together and glue them up together, and then use the router to trim it and clean it up. But I was wondering about the outline around it, getting it square and everything.
Hmm.
I guess if you use the dowels, it all should come out square. Could use a table saw to square it up too, though.
Um, I'm telling you, if you just use what's in VCarve Pro, or I think it's even in Cut 2D for that matter. and just use that slicing function. It will lay it all out for you. There's no need to do a whole lot of trimming, because you can specify how deep the slices go, and it'll
Yeah, I'll
do
look
it.
at that.
I'm gonna try and see if I can find an example online for you. While
So
you
you're talking
talk.
about really the arch, the arch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you want it. How tall is the peak? How tall is the peak part?
On the top. See, I was going to do the top. I was going to make the front back ends and then put the top inside the box in that shape. That's the only thing that was going to be cut like that. It was going to be 13/16 thick, or not 13, 11/16 thick, and then I was going to put 32nd veneer, put cedar veneer on the underneath side and a walnut veneer on the top there. And just drop the top in between the front, the back, and the two ends. That's how I was going to do that.
Okay, I've got an example for you. This is an old video on YouTube from the Vectric forum, and oh, forgive me, I'm having a senior moment here. I've spoken with this guy a million times before. He used to have an Aspire training camp at his workshop every year.
Oh,
He's in North
James
Carolina.
McGrew.
Yeah, McGrew. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
out
Thank
of
you.
South Carolina.
And so rather than tell you it all, he used the slicing function, which is inside of I'm pretty sure it's inside of VCarve Desktop, VCarve Pro, and I know it's in Aspire, where you can slice up a 3D object and have it create layers for you. But I'm going to share this video of what he did when he decided to build life-size chess pieces. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing before I go further, so you can hear the volume. I forgot to check that box. So, all right, that's James McGrew. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. He's talking about his machine.
Jim McGrew of McGrew Woodworking, and he's going to tell us a little bit about some life-size chess pieces he's working on. So, Jim, tell me what's going on back here.
Well, Adam, this is a CNC machine that typically was a very expensive piece of machinery for a non-cabinet maker like myself. Now that the technology is more affordable, what's happened is I have learned how to take what they call a .stl 3D stereolithography file, slice it into sections, and create any height or dimension of 3D that I want. What's going on the machine right now is we're carving one of the slices out, which is the front and the back.
Okay, let me see if I can pause that. If you
front and
see what he's showing there, you can see the outlines that he's cutting.
Mm-hmm.
These are for parts of this life-size chess piece.
And the back are a section of what I'm going to show you next, which is the actual parts being put together to create a full 3D depth life-size chess player.
And this is a pawn that's being made here?
This is the pawn that's being put together here. In fact, if you'll stand back just a second, I'm going to do something for you. See the part being carved out. That's the back and the shoulders right here. The back of the head. You can see the back of the head down here starting to come. And these are actually the rough outs of the parts as they're getting started.
Well, why don't you show me the finished product, Jim?
All right, let's go. What we do is we take the 3D files, and once we've basically fabricated all the parts together, done a little sanding, we do 2 coats of primer to give it a good base sheen, and then we bring it to our artist, Lisa, who in turn creates the chess players.
And we have here a king, right?
Yep, that's the king and the queen and the bishop.
And the bishop.
There's the knight.
And then the unfinished rook.
That's the unfinished rook. And the pawn is the pawn, which creates our first set of 6. And what we had hoped to do was to prove and accomplish our entire first set in a process that would prove we could do it, because these are the largest life-size chess players in the world.
And what do you want to do with this chess set?
We want to play chess.
Where do you want
So, now his project is a lot less complicated than what you're trying to pull off,
Mhm.
but this functionality has been built in to the to that software since basically since it came out, really, because that's a 15-year-old video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that VCar Pro has that feature in there,
Mhm.
but
Hey, Bill.
What's up, Bill? Yeah. So,
Yes.
it wouldn't be difficult at all for you to lay out your entire project in 3D. I mean, it's already a 3D model. You probably have an STL of it somewhere. Import.
yeah, but it was one I did in SketchUp, so it's probably got a lot of facets in it, line segments and stuff, but I think I still got that one.
That can be cleaned up. You can clean
Yeah.
that up and
It's a
oh,
pretty simple shape other than the engravings,
yeah.
you know. So, this would be perfect. I would slice it lengthwise, like a loaf of bread,
Hmm.
and just glue them together.
Mm-hmm.
There's
That's how I
flat
was
bottom.
thinking about doing the top like that. Like you said, like a slice of bread, making the
Mm-hmm.
top like that. That's what I was going to do. But I was going to put it back on the machine to just try and, clean the glue off and everything and get it cleaned up. Less
Yeah.
sanding and scraping involved.
Mm-hmm.
But
This is CNC related, but it's not CNC router related. There's another technology called CNC foam cutting, FOAM cutting. It uses a hot wire.
yeah,
Originally, they were using nichrome wire, but they found that stainless steel wire was better, or using the smallest string on a guitar, stretched between a bow. Anyway, 4-axis with this bow suspended between it and a DC current running through it so that you heat up the wire. And there's software out there that can create the path for the 2 templates that you have, one on either side, and that this CNC will follow those um, tool paths around and cut out your object. Um, uh, what was it? Probably 2003 or 4. I designed and built a CNC 4-axis CNC foam cutter. It was the first CNC machine of any kind I built. Um, you know, so there's a lot of ways to skin your cat, is what I'm saying.
yeah. I've seen the foam cutting thing, but not on a machine. I was just watching what's the guy that makes the I think he made like the Muffets and stuff like that. But
Jim Henson,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, they were using a foam thing to cut out stuff, but it was just it was hooked up to electric, and they had, like you said, like a bow, and they would
mm-hmm.
cut
They
it
would
out
do it by
stuff
hand, or was it
by
CNC?
hand. By
Yeah,
hand.
because
Yeah, this was like back in the early 80s. I don't even think they knew what a CNC machine was back then.
yeah,
But
yeah, I started doing them by hand as well, and then progressed up. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking into some of them. They're not easy to run by. I mean, you see them, but actually like finding one to really buy, it's like a handful. Like they're not, like 3D printers or DIY CNC routers. They just either you buy one that's half made or you go completely commercial. There's like nothing in between.
Yeah. There's a couple of maker level cutters now. but it has always been, a few $1,000 entry point.
Mm-hmm.
But on the plus side, if you get the commercial machines, which are, just write to blank check, um, you can make some amazing stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you could sell to like, Disney or some, where
Right.
there's folks with life size models of things that, like giant trees and everything. And they just slice it all up and stack it together and glue it up. And then they do the artwork, quote, around it to make it look real. So cool stuff. Another
Where did they get the
technology.
foam from? That's what I would be looking at. Like, where did they buy this foam from?
I there's a place locally that I buy it from. You can get it in a 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot length if you wanted it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
I won't
a
have.
cube 4 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I've got that chest brought up here in my e-cabinets program. If you guys want to see, maybe I can better explain
mhm.
what I'm trying to do.
Go ahead.
If I can share, let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you will do it in e-cabinet, but
Yeah,
let me
I've
know.
got it. Well, I mean, I could cut this out in the e-cabinets, um, but you can see it here, I think. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is the a rough version. This isn't the final. This is like one iteration of it. I don't even have all the I do got all the carbons on it, but
Is this a hollow model?
yeah, you see how this?
Okay. Yep.
It's just a box. I put box joints on it, but what I was going to do was take some 2-inch thick stock and cut it out so it'd be 2-inch wide strips in this shape here, and just put dowels in the ends of them and just glue it up this whole length. But I was thinking that it still needed to be squared up so it would fit inside there like that. Of course, I could always build the top and then make the box around it.
Yeah,
But
you can actually, like, you can cut those. You can slice them or cut each one in flat, the Z-wise, the
hmm
same, and just glue it up.
yeah, put
Do that.
dowel them and
Uh-huh.
that's what I had planned on doing. I was going to do it out of poplar or something, and then veneer. I was going to do cedar on the inside and walnut or cherry or whatever I had on the outside veneer. Or another alternative was just glue up a a blank, of like a butcher block type
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
deal and just cut it all out of that. But yeah, this one is pretty much good to go as far as cutting it on the machine. I've actually did a test on a beehive that I helped my son make for his senior project. He was making a beehive, and I was like, you know what? I can test out my box joint chest on that.
Mm-hmm.
My box joints. It actually turned out pretty good. I mean, it fit just right, perfect. Nice. Joints weren't too tight or too loose or anything.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
nice. That'd be a nice
Yeah.
project to do.
Yeah. Then I
these
would.
are I was gonna make these out of 2-inch thick and just do a make it a 1/4 inch. Take a
Hmm.
2-inch blank, ever how wide it needs to be, and just cut a 1/4 inch strip in that shape out.
Hmm. Bill, how you coming along with your beehive?
Oh, I finished that
Oh, great.
uh this
I'll
past
stop sharing my
spring.
screen.
Yeah. Uh yeah. So after all of that, got the beehive out to the customer and everything. And haven't heard a word.
What?
Haven't heard a word. So
You
I
get
asked
no
him,
honey or nothing, did you?
no, no. Um, I asked him about it the other day. He said, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I got busy afterwards, and I'm like, you put in all that work, and sometimes you see it. So spring's coming soon. Maybe I'll see beehives coming out then.
That'd
But
be great.
My
yeah.
my dad's uncle used to be a beekeeper, and he was pretty well known for his bees. and he had something get in his beehive, one of his beehives, and it packed all the cones in with mud or dirt, and
Mud dabbers.
yeah, and the newspaper came out and did a article on it, and they asked him, he said, "What do you think happened?" He said, "I don't know unless the queen bee married a dirt dauber."
Yeah, the dirt dabbers might have just decided to take over, and they beat the bees out of it. You never know.
Yeah, my son said that you have a lot of issues like that and mites get in there and kill the bees and stuff. There's a lot of work to it. It's
Hmm.
more just setting a hive out there and catching you some bees and putting in there. He puts out traps in the the spring when they swarm, and he's got like wax shipping boxes that he gets from the grocery stores where they put produce in and stuff. He just puts a hole in there, and he's got a couple of wax cone trays or whatever you call them. He puts them in there, puts some pheromone in there, and he'll catch them a swarm every once in a while.
Hmm. There was a fellow who was showing off a plastic honeycomb that split apart. So when you would, you got the honey in there, you took the cone out, cracked it this way, all the honey came out, and you pushed it back together, stick it back in the hive, and it could keep going on.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's first off, I'm not get, I'm afraid of bees, so I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot of stuff with a beehive other than that design for them. But yeah, just
You put lemongrass oil in a couple of drops of lemongrass oil on a rag and put it inside a box. The bees will find it and move in.
Yeah.
mhm.
Hmm.
I had a neighbor when I was a kid. He had he kept bees too, and he had a like an old block building out back, and he had his beehive set up so that you could go inside the building and watch the bees. He had like a glass thing on there. You could watch them work and everything. It was pretty cool.
Mhm.
You could see the queen in there doing her thing and all the other workers and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I'll pass. Uh,
The honey
yeah.
comes out on things is pretty good.
Yeah, I like the honey. I just don't like the bees.
The wax is good too. I like to eat the honeycomb
Mhm.
as long as it don't have any larvae in it.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm. Protein.
Yeah, that's what the bears like. The bears like the honey too, but they're mostly after the larvae and stuff, natural bees.
Hmm.
So I got a question for you, Bill. Uh, you're in Canada, and
Um,
yeah, you guys do Thanksgiving in a different time of the year than we do. When was yours, or is it? No
I have to
idea.
look at a calendar. I think it's in October.
Yeah. Okay. Um, what I notice, so I used to patrol the highways, and come Thanksgiving here, everybody from Toronto, Canada, and other places in Canada would come down the New York State Thruway, and they'd drive to New York City, do their shopping on Black Friday, and then drive
Oh
back
yeah,
on Sunday.
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
just horrible traffic time.
Well,
Horrible.
because I mean, Black Friday really started in the U.S., right? And you guys still have it's catching on here in Canada, but you guys still have, besides the dollar and the exchange rate, you can't go here and buy something for 50, 60, 70% off like you can there. Like the deals are just crazy. So I can definitely see that. I know people that will drive. So I'm 2 hours from a border. I know people that will drive that live closer just to get gas
Mm.
and just pop across, get gas, get some food, come back. Right? Because fuel here is I don't know what it is. It's do the
Yeah, you
math
guys
quickly.
do it by the liter.
Yeah, so what was that 3.74 liters to a gallon, and fuel is $1.60 a liter here. So whatever that,
Hmm.
But yeah, so I know there's a lot of cross-border shopping. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, the duty and exchange and shipping and all that, it's crazy.
Well, it works both ways because my brother lives in Buffalo. He likes to cross over into Toronto and places in Canada to grocery shop.
Well, I mean, different food, and I mean, your dollar goes twice as far almost, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
we just booked a trip to Florida, and like everything looks great online until you look at the conversion and prices, and you're like, holy crap! I think it's $1.40 right now.
You going to the Mouse House or where are you going?
No, no, we're going to Busch Gardens and SeaWorld.
Mm-hmm.
So we've done Disney a couple years in a row, or not years in a row, but we've been there twice. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are avoiding Disney now.
well, I mean, there's other things to do, right?
Right. Universal Studios and all the other stuff seems to me was much better.
Yeah, and I
Anyway,
mean, our kids are getting older, so that novelty is
Mm-hmm.
it's not wearing off, but I mean, there's other things to do.
Interesting.
I prefer to
More,
go fishing off the beach in Daytona Beach. That's more fun for me.
I want to go
Fishing or
down to.
people watching?
Yeah, I lived at Daytona Beach for years, and fishing off the beach surf fishing was to me was much more fun.
Yeah, I want to go down to Space Center and watch a launch down there.
yeah,
SpaceX is launching almost every 3 days or something like that. Maybe it's
should,
even picked up. So you're bound to be able to catch some launch.
we were there, well, last time we went, and I think there was a launch the day after we left, which I would love to see.
Or are they doing just testing, or are they actually going out in space, or are they just testing the launches?
Oh, yeah. SpaceX has a smaller rocket called the Falcon 9, and that one has done like 80 or 90% of all the launches in the last 3 years. So it's like as soon as they can load one up, they're shooting them off, and they got a ton of them. So um, I
They figured
think
out how to mass produce them.
yeah, I think they've had a total of 500 launches so far.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, that's when the Starship gets online, it's intended to be the next phase. Okay, now we can repeat launch rockets. Next, we want to repeat launch big rockets so we can, send up big stuff. Because once you can get big stuff into space, you can make bigger stuff, and while in space, or you
Yeah,
can colonize, or you can, set up mining equipment or whatever.
yeah. I
Yeah.
wonder if there's anything worth mining on the moon, and what would have, who would get the mining rights to it if they did.
Whoever gets there first with the most.
I see them trying to set up a base or something on the moon before they try to go to Mars. I mean, that just makes sense for me.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah, except they're about 10 years behind because, well, we weren't ready. Now everybody else, I think if the current FAA were to stay in place after this coming year, and they were still doing the stuff that they have been doing, I think that India would have beat the United States to the moon.
Well, that's because they're scamming everybody. They got plenty of money.
Yeah, in India's space race is going fast, and
They were some smart
everybody's not
jokers,
worried
I'm gonna
about
tell you.
China and everything. China would get there too, but I think India, I think they had a better program. Yeah.
It's kind of coming back around. I know in the 70s and stuff, it was real big when I was coming up because they had just landed on the moon and all, and they were, into space race and all that, putting up Sky Labs and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And it kind of dwindled off, and now it's coming back. I guess
Yeah.
because Elon got into it.
Well, there was no way to do it cheaply and repeatedly, and there was no way to stay. All of those moon missions were like 2 or 3 days, maybe,
Hmm.
that they were on there because they just couldn't take enough stuff with them to stay longer.
Yeah,
So,
they'd have to figure out a way to make their own water, or at least sterilize what water is on the moon, and all that kind of stuff. But they'll get there one day, I'm sure. Probably not in my lifetime, but
they'll get
Well,
there.
well, Mars gonna be a larger challenge. I mean, to my 9 months travel. That's gonna be. I
yeah,
mean,
And you
they
can
got
only go to Mars
scientists.
every 2 years.
yeah.
Yeah, they got scientists working on a way that they can basically put you in hibernation, so that you basically go to sleep, but put you in like a induced coma, medically induced coma or something like that, and then you wake up when you get there, so it don't feel like you don't get cabin fever and stuff like that. Go crazy.
You first, not me.
Yeah, I don't know about
Now, if they were going there and I was back in my 20s or something like that, I believe I'd go, but not now.
Yeah. Um, that what you just discussed, as far as I'm concerned, is still science fiction. But they're working on it. You are correct. They're working hard on it. It's just
You
People are
guys
not
ever
meant
watch
for space.
no, we're not. We're meant to be on Earth, but
you guys ever watch Mike DeGrasse Tyson
there,
or
Neil.
whatever?
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. I said Mike.
Hmm.
I meant
Yeah.
Neil. Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Mike DeGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. He's pretty sharp though. I like watching his videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's combination of philosopher and physicist.
Hmm.
And he's pretty funny.
Yeah, he is. He is. He
Um,
tells it like it is though.
yeah. You pack. So, were you packing router bits all weekend or?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I was at hockey games all weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's I got a few to do. I just I don't know, take my time.
Yep. You doing batches?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Well, and I mean, I try to keep an inventory here, and I do them as I need them. I don't. I just been busy. The Christmas and end of the year is just busy for us. So busy at work and busy here, and it seems like every night I have a few free hours. I'm committed somewhere else, so try to just do a little bit at a time to keep my sanity.
Mm-hmm.
So you manufacture router bits?
No, I just sell them.
Okay.
I wish I could manufacture them, but that's a lot more to that than I originally anticipated. Like,
Yeah,
you
like
know,
the
I've
$1 million
learned,
grinding machine, and
yeah, just and I've learned a lot from just talking to the different manufacturers about, I'll ask some questions like, what if we do this? And he's like, oh, we can try it. It's like, you have no way to know. He's like, no, you just got to try it and do it. I'm like, okay. It's like, cool. Thought it was somewhat mathematically calculated, but you can do whatever you want in those programs, and like they can tell you kind of how it's going to react, but they can't tell you what it's going to do. That's why, like, a lot of people don't understand. There's new bits out, but there's been no advancements as far as like groundbreaking technology in router bits in years. Like, there's different coatings, and there's different grinds, but Like there's no new magic bit. You know, a lot of people try to claim that, oh, try this and look at the fancy coating, but there's no new extra wide double fat compression bit or extra wide. Like it's just either a compression bit, an downcut bit, a upcut bit, like a O flute. Like there's no Z flute. Well, I guess there is, but yeah,
So
I don't know. I learned a
I've
lot.
tried several bits over the years, and I don't notice much difference between using an old flute or a straight cut or anything. Is there really a difference?
There is for those, yeah, definitely.
Between them two, yeah. Between
It, it,
and the whole food.
as soon as you start dialing in your materials,
Yeah.
you can make any bit work in wood almost. Depends on the finish and how picky you want to be. But as soon as you start cutting specialty materials, like if you're only going to do plastics, then yeah, I wouldn't use a compression bit in plastic, obviously. There's definitely the right bit for the job. But when I first started using, man, I was ordering bits out of catalogs this thick, not having a clue what I was doing, getting the bits, and I'd make them work. Especially when I did wait a week to get them.
Yeah, that's pretty much everybody. You'd see a bit that you thought might work, or whatever, and you'd order up a few, and then you'd try them. And if you got it wrong, you broke the bit. If you got it right, then you were dancing. And if you got chips instead of sawdust, you were really happy, and you were like, okay, wait, you got to write this down now. So you knew what you were doing. But the hard part was remembering where you ordered it, getting the exact same thing again, and
Yeah.
it's always a problem.
One of my favorites
especially.
a low helix. I like using a low helix bit. Like it's more to me, I can cut almost anything with the, like the PVCs, your different woods. I never had an issue with any of them. You can almost narrow down using 3 bits in most of your operations, really, and be safe and just use those 3 bits and cut anything that you want.
Well, that's it, right? A lot of people will get wrong is their feeds and speeds. If you can get the right feeds and speed for any bit.
Yeah.
I know a guy that he uses O flutes making guitars. He loves just a single flute, even though technically I use them in plastics.
All right.
But he loves using it in wood. And I'm like, you buy an awful lot of these. What are you doing? Because I know he makes basses. He's like, oh, it's what I use. I'm like, all right. You get the results you want. Does it really matter?
I think the newest that I've seen with like the bits is the V bits now. They're coming in on 3 and 4 flute. So I just bought one, but I haven't tried it. So I don't even know what to even expect out of it. And then I seen one that's actually an O flute V bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to try.
So it's more of a shearing action than that straight flat edge.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So it's more of like it's got more of a down force because it's shearing down with an angle than just having a flat cutting edge.
So I just bought this one.
I'm gonna change the view so we can see just you.
And I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
Put your hand now back up a little with it, both of them, and then come forward. It'll focus. There you go.
So that's what it looked like.
Pretty cool. And one thing I learned too is in order to put the coatings on the bits, they actually have to be dull.
Oh,
So most of the time, a bit without a coating will be sharper than a bit with a coating
that's interesting.
because it's with because it's like if you take a razor blade and a can of paint and you try to paint the edge of a razor blade, you're not going to get much paint on it because it's so sharp.
Right.
So in order for them to get the coating to stick to the cutting edge, they've got to actually grind it at a duller cut than they would a regular bit. And I'm like, huh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a bit coated or not, it's a different grind most of the time.
Yeah, I've been to the tool shows where they have the CNC grinders that they use to make these carbide things, and they have special wheels and diamond wheels and all sorts of other things that they grind these. And it's really impressive to watch. But when I see how crazy expensive it is
Yeah.
for them, and they're cutting one bit at a time.
Yeah, the
What
machine,
happened?
the
Yeah.
machine is expensive. I mean, I checked in. I think one machine was, dang it, what's the name of that?
Even the cheap ones are like 200,000.
Yeah.
Well, this one here was, well, it was probably like the base model. It was like 70,000, and then you could start adding stuff to it, like your probe, your laser detection. Like you could put one of your bits in there, and it'll detect like the angle and all that. And then it had conversational cam in it. So you could duplicate your own bits, or you could design a bit in there. But I think if you got it totally outfitted, it was probably like 125. Dang, what's the name of that doggone company?
The one I saw was like 750K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
Yeah, be going through some bits to afford that now.
yeah, you aren't kidding. Hey, Milo.
the one of the
I can
places
make
I
them
get
cheaper
my
than I can buy
bits,
'em.
Hey, Milo.
he had to get a new grinding wheel to do 1/8 inch compression bit for me, and he said it was $20,000 for the grinding wheel.
Ooh.
And I'm like, man, I hope it's worth it.
That's
Do you use air chucks on your grinding?
Air chucks? I don't.
Okay.
I don't have a big fancy one like that.
Okay.
I don't grind in house.
Oh.
No, that's too,
Yeah,
it's
that's
over,
I just buy my bits. I'm not
it's over my head.
yeah. Some things is just left up to people that just can make the money off of it. I rather just buy the product.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
just
mean,
like getting them resharpened. I always found out when I had my cabinet business that it was just as cheap to buy a new one as it was to get it sharpened. It was cheaper to get it sharpened, but when you got it back, it weren't the same bit, you know.
Oh yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you start using 1/2 inch bits, then yeah, it's probably more cost effective to get it sharpened. But
hmm
if you're using a 1/4 inch bit, you just go buy another one. You know, I've seen some of those 1/2 inch, compression bits, $500, $600, $700. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
No, I'm not doing that until I have to see the work. If you're using a $700 bit, I need to see what kind of work you're doing that's justifying that type of investment. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you'd be running a big machine.
yeah,
It better be capable of some pretty high speeds.
yeah, I can't see that. I mean, I've
Yeah,
done a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
stuff,
You
and
We're
know,
not gonna we're not gonna spend $400 or $500 for a desktop model, X car or anything.
put a
Well,
seven
that's it.
hundred dollar bid in it.
Yeah, those bits would be made for cabinet shops running 1,000 inches a minute all day, every day,
Right.
and that bit is meant to last a long time.
Yeah, you go to the shop over here by my house and they call it Stampede, it's tool and die shop. And they're throwing chips off there. There are blue chips coming off. And I go, man, the speeds they're using now. When I first was a machinist back in the 70s, high speed steel was the way to go. But now they're using these precision coated chip cutters and throwing chips off there as fast as they can be, and they're blue coming off. The speeds are going. I can't believe it. Back then it would be yelled at. Now they're yelling at you if you're not going fast enough.
Time is money.
Yep, some of these old guys come in there with the old style skills like I used to have, and you get yelled at. You're not going fast enough. Speed that thing up. Oh, okay.
Well, that's the thing.
Amazing.
Like even for me, when I started with my table, so my big table it'll do 800 or 1,000 inches a minute. I've never run it that fast. And years ago, it was like you just you just get the job done and you do it right the first time. You don't worry about like, hey, I did 400 inches a minute. Like, man, just I'm slow and steady. I don't need to be the fastest.
Yeah, back
Unless
in
you're
the old days, with those
high
high-speed
production.
cutters, you go to a job shop, and they'd use that one cutter for the job because they wanted to get it done. So you might burn up a cutter on one job.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's probably a lot more important when you're cutting metals, and heat has a huge effect on what you're doing and the outcome
Yeah.
and the finish, right? You can burn up a bit in seconds. Where I mean, I guess you could do that too, cutting wood, but
There's a podcast, the Business of Machining podcast. It's John Saunders and John Grimsmo every week.
oh, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah. Well, now that they're no longer focused solely on making YouTube videos and they're, actually out making multi-million-dollar livings, they discuss spending, a few $100s for a bit, or they both just decided suddenly that they were going to do hard milling, which, takes a hardened piece of metal versus most times you want to machine a soft metal, because instead of it's easier. Let's just put it this way. But they discovered that now that they spend the extra buck to get a hard milling bit, and now they just full send, full speed, into this hardened metal. And when they're done, they've got a product that is nice. It hasn't warped, and it's everything that they want. And they don't have to have it heat treated because it was already heat treated before they started. And they're saving all these processes because they're making not, one of them's making knives, the other one's making fixture plates. And to hear them speak now about, hey, I'm thinking about getting another machine next week, and when they're talking about it, they're talking a $500,000-$600,000 machine
Oh yeah,
right now, because they're making it.
Yeah.
They're literally an industrial machine shop kind of thing, where they're making their particular product. They're not job shoppers. They're not just taking in work. They're making
yeah.
specific products, and they pay for the best machinists they can get and the best tools, and then you just full send. And when they go home at night, the machine's loaded up and it's running all night, so that when they come in, they're taking finished products off.
That's scary.
Yeah. So, but when you have $1,000 pocket knife, it's pretty easy as your product.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
incredible
And
knives.
the machine can sense when a cutter breaks, so they shut down and they watch
Yeah,
the amperage on the motors and the speeds and all that. They can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, these guys have apps set up on their phones and on their computers that monitor if the machine is still cutting.
Mhm.
right. And I'm sure they can log in and watch a video of it and
Yep.
probably
Yep.
control it, emergency stop or
And Grimsmo doesn't live far from his shop, so he can go in the middle of the night, find out what tool broke, hit a few keys, hit cycle start, and off she goes again,
yeah.
and he
And I mean,
goes back to bed.
I mean, those are the
Yeah, but
best kind of
yeah,
employees, right? They just go while you're sleeping 24 hours a day. Don't have to
Yeah.
worry
they've
about
got
sick
yeah they've
days.
got they've got halide fire suppression systems on them and everything.
Yeah. They're using one called I think they call it a fire break, is what they've installed, so that some of their machines, the lathes and stuff, are running on oil. And if you get a fire going in that, it's pretty
Yeah, because
bad.
that oil is flammable.
Yeah. So they have this fire suppression system that
God, that'd ruin your day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen those or talked to people that's had those in wood shops, cabinet shops and stuff for their dust collection.
Yeah.
It just once it senses it, it just It just puts it out instantly.
Mm.
If you've ever seen a bad shop fire, you would understand why it would be worth it.
On wood shop. When
Yeah.
I first got my machine, in my naive, learning experience, we were cutting a 4x8 like a contour map of our city out of inch MDF, and it was something like an 18-hour carve. So it was running for 8 hours, and I emptied the dust collector and looked at it, and we're like, well, it'll be fine. Came in the next morning, dust collector had clogged. There was MDF, like an inch of MDF powder all over the whole machine. Machine was still running. The whole room was covered in MDF. Like that was such a time bomb that luckily didn't go off.
Yeah.
Nobody light a cigarette in there.
Oh, spark.
Yeah,
MDF
anything.
dust.
Static.
It's like gas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that was
Well, definitely the speeds were right because it was still making chips.
oh man, it was just like
Other
you just opened the door and it was like instant regret.
One
That
of the
shop,
best,
that room was never the same.
No,
one of the best
you're
laughs
probably
I've
still
ever had
on
was
Yeah.
a new guy that was working out at the shop. They had a burn pile out there. They put their scraps on, and it had gone out, and it was just sitting there smoldering. It still had hot coals in it. And he went out to empty that the dust collector bag. He opened that thing up, and luckily he stood back and just slung it, like a baseball bat. And when he did, it just made it look like somebody poured a 5-gallon can of gas on it. I
Yep.
laughed. It scared that boy to death. He was like, "Good God, that blew up." That's why they got them signs up there that says no smoking.
Anytime you can get a very fine powder in the air, you got a potentially combustible situation. There was a video years ago of a flour factory
Yeah.
Oh,
that went up like that. They got flour in the air and suddenly a spark and just suddenly everything was on fire. So you got to be careful. You got to be very careful. Got to get good dust collection going, and you
Things got to
can't
be
really
grounded.
leave it alone. Yeah, make sure it's grounded too. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Milo, you're awful quiet tonight.
Yep, just listening.
Well, that's never a good sign because you're like one of the brightest tools in the shed. So,
Yeah, the color coding didn't stick.
yeah.
The rainbow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no, I'm one of them guys that I do push the speed.
yeah.
If you're not
Now
pushing it as
that
hard as it go, you're not making nothing. You want it to cut hard as it can, but you don't want to push it too hard where you got crappy cuts and breaking cutters. But you want it to work.
Yep. Well, and I was chasing a problem for a user that was seeing a ripple cut whenever he'd do a 90-degree turn or a sharp turn. And I've seen this several times. And I was thinking that it was an acceleration deceleration setting in the controller. I'm becoming more and more convinced because I rarely, if ever, see it. And I've got the same settings on my machine and this other person. Finally dawned on me, I go, wait a minute. When's the last time you adjusted the backlash on that machine? On the rack and pinion? And he says, well, I haven't. Okay, that's what it is.
Mhm.
He had too much slop in the system, and as it was accelerating, it was picking up and laying down the slop, and it was causing a wave pattern in the cut. To prove it, I came out to mine. He was doing it at 100. I did it at 300 on the same thing. It was only a round cut about that big. It was the letter C around the outside edge of it.
At 300, it wasn't there. At 100, I could just barely detect it. So I backed off the motor and induced backlash. Yep, it was there. And so machine maintenance is a huge deal. But a lot of people, well, wait a minute, the car's still running. I don't need to worry about it, even though it's pulling me into the ditch every time I step on the gas.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
don't remember who it was on Joe's CNC forum. We had, 80/20 aluminum rails for the y-axis with rack and pinions on the side, and the rack and pinions are held in by button head screws, tightened down into the slot. And for whatever reason, he hadn't tightened down the rack. And so he was getting all kinds of weird oscillations and everything. We were going around for weeks trying to troubleshoot what was going on and everything. And finally, I don't remember how it happened. I think he had posted a video up close of what was going on. He had changed out the gears on his gearbox. He'd done all kinds of crazy things. And then as he's running the machine, we could see the rack go like this. As it was just tight enough not to move most of the time, but under the stress, and it was moving, and the rack was moving as well as the pinion. So that's how it was. Tighten up the bolts. Suddenly he's cutting fine. But that was a nightmare trying to track that one down.
My big machine does that.
Yeah.
On a sharp 90-degree cut, it'll do that little wave. And then as it accelerates, I thought it was an accelerating problem because as it goes, it straightens out. But machine maintenance is I probably haven't checked the backlash on it. I actually, I can tell you, I've never done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to change my belts on mine. I had it for, let's see, 6 years.
Yeah. Belts are a wear item.
Yeah, so they start to, they lose their tension, and mine was doing it. Had started doing the same thing. I started gaining like 3/8 on one side of my cut. Like I couldn't figure it out. It took me a while to figure it out. Like, what the heck going on?
Yeah.
And then I thought I had to, recalibrate like my steps. And then I was like, let me take the cover off and make sure, because at first I was afraid that my pinion might have been sheared off or something. So I took that off, and as soon as I took it off, I saw the belt just kind of like sag a little bit. I had to loosen the motor up and just change out the belts. Yeah.
So can you get that same issue with a ball screw system?
No, you don't. No, you shouldn't. But I'm sure there's a way to calibrate them. I don't know that much about them.
Not unless your ball screw is driven by a timing belt.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Don't they have backlash compensation built into them?
Ball screws? Some
on the ball screw drive nut?
They do, yeah. They do.
Yeah, I think I was talking to one manufacturer, and I said, why ball screw versus rack and pinion? And they're going through specifics and all kinds of things. I go, what happens when you wear out the ball screw drive mechanism? He said, well, you got to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, how often? How many hours? How many miles? How many what? I said, I can adjust the rack and pinion. I can't do anything with this mechanism. I said, what's the overall life cost differential? I said, has anybody done the math on it? Or is it just that now they got what, Bill, you had on that Stepcraft video you had here a while ago where they have a drive nut and a stationary ball screw now. They don't have to worry about the whip.
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of intriguing.
But a lot of the whip is also taken out by running linear rails on it also.
Yeah.
So the support won't be on the ball screw. So it still runs on a linear rail, but it's pulling on the
Oh, it's
on the ball, on the
okay.
ball.
The Thermwood machine that I work with, it's got linear rails on it, and it's also got these two little flip up things. When it goes forward to the front to back, they flip up, and they're always in contact with the ball screw with the screw.
Hmm.
And it keeps it from whipping. I mean, you still get a little bit, but as long as they're not worn out, it works pretty good.
Because my rack and pinion machine, I'm running positioning speeds at 2,500 now.
Mhm.
And so rack and pinion is capable. Ball
Yeah.
screw, I think, is about in the same area on some of the higher machines.
Yeah. They
You're
can run.
talking about rapid speed.
Yeah.
Well, and I had one of the guys say, "Why are you running it that fast?" He said, "You can't cut that fast."
Crazy.
So
That's fast.
I surfaced my machine at 2,500.
Yeah.
You aren't taking much off.
Yeah.
And yes, you can get chips with MDF.
Yeah.
That's
Mine
fast.
did you change your drivers to like did you change the what is it, the resolutions of your drivers?
I'm at 4,000.
You have, okay, that's where I'm at. I'm at 4,000.
Yeah.
So I got mine's up to 1,600. So I can do a rapid at 1,600. I haven't went any further than that.
On the old mock days, I'd push it until it skipped, and then back off about 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have yet to get this thing to skip. And I'm going at 2,500, it's making 8 foot and 4 foot really quick. I'm going, I don't know for sure where the high end would be.
How big are your motors?
Oh, offhand, I don't know the specs on it, or I don't have it right here. I'd hate to say it, I'd be off.
Yeah.
They got to be 1,000-ounce motors, though.
That's what I thought mine was.
I'd just be guessing.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he's got a legacy CNC. I can't remember the particular one.
4x8 Gen 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the acceleration it's got to be to run a machine that size. The acceleration has got to be pretty high.
Yeah.
It's almost instant, and you got to have a big motor to do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could look it up, but I just don't have it off the top of my head. I can barely remember my age anymore.
What age?
Yeah.
You have to sit down with the calculator every birthday and figure out how old I am.
What's amazing, like Milo was talking about, because we pretty much run the same system as far as
Electronics.
the the expectation of these hybrid stepper motors are running right up there where these servos are running, so they overlap. So where the hybrids actually stop, the servos pick up, with that, because I didn't even think, when you buy a machine, most of the time they not even tuned. They just test them at the facility, make sure they square, make sure they cut, and if you don't know anything about it, you'll run it but you're running it like on the low end of its performance.
Well, look at the bit libraries that
Yeah.
came out for the programs. They're just placeholders.
Yes.
There's a lot of like Amana, what they send out, or I think IDC. Well, their customer base, if they've got smaller machines that they cater to, they got them pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't even close to proper chip loads for many of the bits.
No.
And then, of course, I keep reminding people, I said, they don't know if you've got a 12 by 12 desktop machine or a 5 foot by 12 foot commercial machine,
Yep.
because the bits will go on either one.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Yeah.
people saying, well, what do you charge per hour for your machine? So what kind of depends on the machine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was watching
Definitely
a
does.
machine last 3 weeks ago. It was so fast, it's almost scary fast. You see that huge machine, those huge gantries moving as fast as almost you can run. It's just amazingly scary fast.
And they
Yeah.
don't stop. If they run into you, it's going to knock you down.
Mhm.
Look
Yeah,
at it.
those
Yeah, they'll kill you. Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
those big cabinet shop machines like the BSEs and
Also,
Morbidellis and
mhm.
whatever. They are moving. They've got light curtains and stuff to stop you from getting in
Yes.
near them because
Right.
they will change your day.
Yeah.
That big gantry I saw, they could do a 10-foot propeller, ship propeller. And that
Mhm.
gantry is so big, if it hits you, it'd kill you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
but
taught on
there's
a home ag wiki.
yeah.
That son of a gun, it would flat get up and move, but they had the laser curtains.
Mhm.
The company that I was talking to, they said, yeah, they went into a business because they'd call them out to align it every once in a while. Well, these guys had taken these light curtains, taped the heads together like a garage door sensor, and just
Mhm.
duct taped them together because they got tired of it setting off if they wanted to go up there and push the board over a little bit.
Jeez, I can't imagine.
And all the gates into the back of the machine are all wired, and they had disabled the whole thing. They took down the fence even.
Yep.
And they walked in there and they said they they tagged out the machine. They said, we will not allow this. He said, we can't work on this at all until we put all this back together. And they said, well, we don't want it on there. I said, then find somebody else to do the work.
Right. They get sued.
Oh yeah. And like I said, that doggone machine had moved so fast, you wouldn't be able to turn around to go, what?
Yeah.
At
Yep.
2,500, this dumb thing will get my attention.
Hmm.
That's fast. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just scary fast.
Back 2012 when we did the machine at the college, we were running at a Mach 3 and we were topping out somewhere around 1,300 inches a minute. And it was literally scary because you got a 6 foot long machine. It doesn't take at that rate, it doesn't take but a couple seconds to run from
Mhm.
one end of the table to the next. And it's really
It's funny how you
frightening.
it's funny how you get a new point of reference.
Hmm.
I go over to a friend's house. His is set at 1,500. And I'm going, geez, this is like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
everything is relative.
All right.
And I see somebody cutting at 100 inches a minute or 200 inches a minute, and I start to cry. I go, good grief, come on, move that thing.
It's just like the old 386 machines with XP.
Yep.
I went at the shop. I'm working on it. It takes 10 or 15 seconds to do something. Where my new machine is, as soon as you click the mouse, it's done. You can't appreciate it. You'll actually go back a little bit and go, "Wow, we actually have to work on this stuff."
Yeah. When we did the machine there at the college, we had a demonstration, because this was the kids' senior project. This was their capstone, and we had all the local machining companies that were going to hire these kids came out to watch the demo, and the professor wrote a little demo program that was supposed to cut a box or something, something simple. He wrote it out in G code and he ran it, and he ran it at speeds that he would run his Bridgeport at. So, this thing is moving like 5 or 10 inches per minute or something like that. And I said, ooh, yeah. And so something wasn't right. I can't remember what it was. So I said, hey, I got a program I wrote up the other day for it because I was routinely running my machine at 300 inches a minute at that point. This is 2012. So it's what 12 years ago. All right. So I had done up the college logo and everything. We strapped down a piece of wood, and I said, I'm going to run it at 300 inches per minute. And he's like, what? No, you can't do that. I says, I'll do it all day. He says, I don't know. And I says, yeah. I says, I'll just stand by the E-stop, and we got a problem. So I hit the button. We had a 3 kilowatt spindle, the whole 9 yards. It was ready to roll. 1/4 inch bit. Hit the button, off she goes. It just does its thing. Zoop, zoop, zoop. And the guys from the industry are just like amazed because they're used to metalworking machines and those slower speeds, even with the CNC and everything. We cut it and they're suddenly gathering around the machine and now they're talking. And when I think back at it now, 300 inches per minute is slow.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that was the
I tell
thing.
you, we got a group of CNC users that we have a meeting as well.
Mhm.
A few years ago, we got into a discussion: is what's fast? Well, 100 sounds pretty fast. 200, that sounds twice as fast as 100.
Mhm.
And I said, how fast do you push a board across the router table? Nobody could answer it.
All right.
They said, oh, maybe 50 or 60. So, a buddy of mine and I, we set up a camera over the top of a router table so that I could record it. And I had a clock on it. I gave him a 2-foot board. And I said, you got 4 edges on that thing. Just do whatever you normally do. When you're rounding over the edge of a board, just do it that way. All 4 passes, we did the math after that. He was very, very consistent, but he was pushing 400 inches a minute. And I said, now you're running 100 on a CNC machine? Yet I can do 4 times that fast on a router table?
Mhm.
I go, where's your point of reference here? And then until we actually did the video and we did the math, people are going, wow. Yeah, you got this big machine, 1/4 the capability of your hands.
Mhm.
And it was more perception than fact. I'm running an 1/8 inch compression bit at 200 1/2 inch deep.
Yeah.
On 3/4 of an inch deep, I can do an 1/8 inch compression at about 150 if I'm feeling like I want to back off. But at a single pass, 1/8 inch bits, so long as the machine is
Rigid.
rigid and in alignment and not cutting sideways through the material and
Mhm.
run out in your collet. 1/8 inch bits are pretty doggone tough. And these ain't a $400 bit. We're
Yeah.
talking, what, $10 for 5 of them? Whatever it is, $20 for 5 of them off of Amazon.
Mhm.
'Cause, I'll try those cheap bits just to see what they do.
They do
I
pretty
haven't
well.
broke one yet.
Yep. Yeah, the
I
problem
was kind of surprised. I anticipated I would break them.
I think it all comes about was anybody that we could ask for advice back in the day when we were just getting started, they were machinists running metalworking machines for the most part.
Yep.
They knew the speeds and feeds for that, being conservative because they didn't want to break anything. You crash a metalworking machine and you're talking 40K before the guy's out the door to on your service call. So it's just one of those things. And so they were always being conservative with how they were cutting, and folks just never tried it. They just never tried to go any faster. It's like, oh, I heard of 100 inches per minute. That's like the upper limit. I don't think my machine will get that. I'll try 50.
Yeah.
And then they cut that and it was successful. And they say, okay, so it takes 20 hours to cut this little sign that says hello world. But but I can make these all day and no problem. Yeah, crank that speed up times and give it a shot. The worst that usually happens is you break a bit. Most of our machines, now that's a generalization. I was going to say many of our machines are not strong enough to do themselves serious damage when they break a bit. But that is changing now. So some of the machines are. Like I wouldn't say that about Talley's machine. He'd probably do some damage.
Yeah, it do some damage.
Yep.
I've
But
had things fly off of that joker and come at me.
yeah, but a Shapeoko
Yeah.
or what is the other one? Onefinity or some of the smaller ones that are out there. They don't have
Yeah, if
the
they go 50, they're fast.
yeah. So it
Well,
is what
even
it
the
is.
price of bits seem to be kind of stabilizing. You ever seen the woodpecker bits
I haven't seen them.
from Woodpecker? I tell you what, the prices are fair.
Okay.
You're talking. They're mentioning 1/2 inch compression bits. 1 5/8 cutting depth, 1/2 inch compression was like $99. 1 1/4, I think, was 89.
Yeah, this is this
And
the
these
same
bits are impressive.
this is the same company that makes the custom tools.
Yep,
Yeah, woodpeckers. Remember?
yep.
You talk about $100 for a bit. I buy 100 of them for $1. I think I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Some of these people, some people are paying $500 for a bit or $100 for a bit. I go, wow.
I actually have some 99-cent bits.
Mm-hmm.
They're made out of aluminum. They're made out of aluminum. They cut really well, but I don't know how long they'll cut.
Yeah.
But it's but I have done some 3D carvings with them, like just like the roughing and stuff. Um, but they will break easy. Like if you mess around and you plunge and not at the right speed, they're gonna snap. But they are actually aluminum bits.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I think I bought like a dozen of them for like 99 cents on eBay. And if you're doing like, just regular roughing or, cutting out stuff, they perfect for it.
Never seen an aluminum bit.
Yeah. I'll bring one, because I don't have them in here. I don't think I never ran them on my shop bot. But next time I'll bring, and you could look at it like as soon as you pick it up, you automatically know like, man, this is light. It's like a really light bit. But it's sharp. It's sharp as I mean, it would definitely cut you. You couldn't, like you try to change your bit sometime and you slip. If you slip and hit it, it's gonna cut you. But next time I show it, I send a picture and post it.
Hey,
But
Tally, how far from the
Mhm.
train station are you?
From Amtrak,
Yeah.
maybe about 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because it's north. It's north of me.
What part of town are you living in?
I'm on the south side. I'm in the Mandarin area of Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
I used to live in Arlington.
So Arlington is like
Yeah, across the
12
river.
minutes, maybe, from me.
All right.
So Tally, how's your auto tool changer, that rapid change?
Oh, I still like it. I don't have it.
Work?
I don't have it hooked up. I don't have it hooked up to the new version of CNC 12. Yeah. Um, I've been working out some bugs because they changed some features. Like so
In CNC 12.
it's good that they're on board, but like when you kind of go a little overboard. Well, this is what they did with 5.2. So what they changed the touch off tools. So they say touch off tool, and then you have two probes. They TP and TT, and then so I had to, man, I caught the devil trying to figure this out. So they made it in the PLC where you can either make it try to probe to touch your your Z off or you can do it off the touch tool or the touch plate or whatever, however they time it. But it was confusing. Like it didn't work traditionally, like you would say, all right, my touch probe is on input 7, okay, and you put input 7 on. Well, in this one, it read whatever you set up in the PLC. That's how it automatically determined. So if it was input 7 was active. So you couldn't tell it to touch off on the tool sensor. You had to actually go in the PLC at number whatever and put it in the binary code and tell it this is my tool sensor. That's what I was having a problem with. Because what I was wanting to do was touch off on my table at all times and then just use my tool sensor as a tool offset. So I didn't want to run my ATC and had all that confusing because I run a different tool micro for the rapid tool change. And I want to understand the concept before I start going down a rabbit hole.
Mm.
I think now I have been doing a few jobs where I done got comfortable with it, where I understand what it's doing. I might hook it up maybe in the middle of the month or so and test it. But I mean, as far as it working, it works. I mean, it works fine. I haven't had an issue with it whatsoever. Yeah. But Centroid is really coming on board with CNC routers. I have talked to one of the guys personally. So they're going to be actually popping up on some of the shows with their machines and with their controllers and things like that. So their main focus right now is towards CNC routers. So it's going to be some new features that will be coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they already added the tangent knife, I think, to their software. They already have lasers, but I haven't seen anything that anyone done with the really laser aspect of it that I was impressed with, like that comes off the epilogue or, just even with the V-Carve and Vectric, I haven't seen anything laser come off of there that compare with the epilogue.
No.
So
One machine can't do everything.
Yeah.
On a 80-pound spindle as opposed to a few ounce mirror,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get the performance. And like the epilogue folks are, they've had this figured out for a while.
Right. It's all about that motherboard. It's all about that motherboard. I've learned that firsthand. When I had my Chinese machine, my first Chinese machine, and let me see, it was a G Winky, it was a 40 watt. And then I think I had, what did I buy there? Oh, I had my upper log, which was a 60 watt. It was an EXT36. I had the Camtech, which was a 50 watt 4x8, and it ran WinCNC. I used to run all of them and compare them. The upper log and the Camtech ran identical. The Camtech was a little slower than the upper log, it was a lot slower than the upper log. But if you set both engravings side by side, you couldn't tell the difference. The Chinese machine could not do grayscale, period. It could not do grayscale. It doesn't interpret 256 colors or 8-bit or 16-bit colors. It just don't do it. It only did black and white. That was it. On and off. That's all you got from it.
Did you ever do any grayscale 3D
Absolutely.
lasering.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was kind of surprised. It'll do a very sharp uh, checker for like gun grips.
Mm-hmm. I've done
I
that.
mean, it'll almost hurt that it's that sharp.
Yep. I've done those. I did the fish scales. I did some fish scale patterns. Um, but I found out you could do it much better out of if if you bring your design into Vectric and you scale it, you have to scale it by the material. You have to scale it by the material instead of by depth. You have to scale it by the material and then bring that, save it out as a I think it's a is it an 8-bit grayscale, I want to say. Export it out, bring it into Corel, and then laser engrave it. You'll get the effect as you would if you carved it.
Huh.
Yeah, I've learned that. I've practiced with that for a while, and then I backed off. You know how it is. You do stuff, you get an idea,
Yep.
and then you do it. Oh, that's nice, and then you never go back to it. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah,
but
happens all the time.
I have. I was trying to find that piece I had. It was a piece of acrylic that I did. It was a 1/4 inch acrylic that I did 3D carving on.
Hmm.
It
Speaking
took
of
like 10 passes though.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah.
speaking
It's
of a Corel,
huh?
uh, speaking of Corel Draw, a couple of weeks ago, Ned told me about this company, Humble Bundle.
Humble
Uh,
bum. Okay.
Humble Bundle.
Okay.
Anyway, they have discounted software and games and things like that, and they had a Corel thing on. I was able to get the Corel 2024, I believe
Yeah.
it was, for $35. The
Really?
completed license right through Corel, the whole nine.
Wow.
It
Maybe I
had
can.
photo paint and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently, what this Humble Bundle does is they donate a huge portion of whatever proceeds they get to specific charity. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the Children's Miracle Network or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
And so, because of that, they make alliances with these various software companies, and they give them ridiculously low discounts on last year's product, because the 2024 would be last year's product in about a month.
Right.
Everybody's buying 2025, but it was a one-time full license thing of that, and I picked that up because that's what I used when I was doing my laser cutter, and I know that's something I have planned for in the future. But I'd never heard of them, and when Ned told me about it, and I saw that really ridiculously low price, I says, "Is this a legit company or is this pirateware or something
Right.
like that?" He's like, "Nope." And so then I looked them up, and I found several YouTube videos about them, and it turns out they're legit. But
Interesting.
mostly they work with gaming platforms. That's where the majority of the things are. But every now and then they do something with Corel or Adobe or whoever. And so
That's cool.
yeah.
I shoot, I haven't even upgraded. I haven't upgraded my desk proto yet.
Hmm.
I j-
But
um
the program's fully registered. It's the whole 9 yards, and it's through Adobe. You're the whole nine. It's
Yeah,
hum,
you
ridiculous.
see
humble
so you see so
bundle.
many pirated copies, it really makes you leery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause, I
yeah,
know they do a lot of work to create a product, and I don't want to buy a stolen product.
exactly.
And it's good that they had some rationale for it anyway.
Yep. So, um, yeah, I did a lot of diligence before. I'm like, I don't know. This, sounds too good to
If
be
it
true,
seems
but it
too good to
wasn't.
be true.
Yeah. But in this case, they're like a 7-year-old company or something like that. So I just had never heard of them.
Right.
I remember when Kickstarter first came out, I was really leery with them, and they're multi-billion-dollar company now.
Oh,
You know,
Kickstarter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So go figure. But I was very pleased with the transaction and the software. Software works great. 'Cause I used to use Corel a lot at one point.
I like Corel. I just did. Matter of fact, I just did my props in Corel. So because I'm doing those digital, they're going to be digitally printed. I used to do them in vinyl and just cut them out in layers and did the vinyl, or sometime I painted. Um, but I was like, I'm not doing that this time. So I set up the file for digital print, and then I set up a bleed, and then I set up a contour cut, and then I separated the print from the contour cut, exported the contour cut as a PDF or an EPS file. I brought it into Vectric, and then I did me an offset of I want to say like 3/16, the 3/16 offset to cut out of PVC, and that way to give me just where that the graphics go around there, it'll just give me that little bleed where it don't have the graphics don't have the overhang off the cut. And usually they just go on easy. I peel it, soap it down with soap and water, and lay it until I get it everything centered. I let it sit, and then I just squeeze everything out, and it's done. Don't worry about painting or anything. And it's laminated. So,
Hmm.
but normally I a lot of times I work with from Corel into Vectric. And my wife, she love using Corel. So everything she does in Corel, she'll send it over to me and say, "Hey, can you cut this?" And then I can cut it.
So
Or she
will
say she
Corel
trying.
do vectors, actual vectors, or does
Yes,
it?
it
Mhm.
does. Yeah, it does vectors very well. I
Yeah.
mean, it depends.
And the arcs are arcs. They're not like segmented lines like in SketchUp and stuff.
Yeah. So you have to use
Is it Bezier
Corel.
or
It have to be 19 and up. It has to be 19 and up. I think
uh,
Corel
Corel
X,
version 19 and up? You said,
yeah,
yeah.
2019 and up, yeah.
Mhm.
Because if you use what was it like X9? I think it was like X9 or something like that. They were awful. Like if
That
you try to export, it broke up everything in segments.
in the
Yeah,
chat,
that's because
I
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
yeah, Corel used to Corel allowed those exporters to go to DFX for exporting and using AutoCAD uh, style exports.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all in segments,
Or
Yeah.
splines.
Yeah,
splines. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was bad.
that uh deal that I got is still going. There's like 5 days left of it. I didn't
Oh, okay.
realize it. I thought it
I,
was over by now, but I put the link inside of the chat for those who are here um in the Zoom meeting. I'm not going to put it into the group,
okay.
um, but
I was just looking over there and I didn't find it.
I just put the link there. It should
Yeah.
Okay,
Go on the link in the.
in the
Okay.
chat.
So this one here is that's not bad. That's
It
okay.
was
So that's
30. So the way it works is if you want, um, there's like 25 different pieces that go along with it. So they give you the
mm-hmm.
Corel Draw, Corel Photo Paint, brushes, and all these things. You choose how much you want to pay on this as a donation. If you if you choose to send $1, they'll send you something. If
Mm-hmm.
you choose to send $20, they'll send you just the Corel Draw. 20, I'm just riffing here. These aren't the actual prices. You know, $25, they send you Corel and photo paint, that sort of thing. So then anything above, I think, $30 is considered, now you're really donating to the charity, because they do a match on anything above that, or something like that. Anyway, it's all there. Read up on them. If it's something that you could use, and here's the link, great. If not, but it's
Yeah, I think I'm going to upgrade my corral.
That's pretty good. That's pretty.
yeah. And this was a one-time download, not a subscription based thing. This is a you own that program, and you can re-download it from the Corral website if need be.
Mhm.
Something happens, whatever, as long
I'm
as you
gonna go get it.
register it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to avoid going back to the site, because I don't want to see what else they got, because I don't,
Yeah, but it's all tax deductible if it's a donation
yeah.
or if you're a business. Or
Hmm.
I upgraded from 2019 to 2024
Yeah.
because I stopped when they went to that subscription primary base. They used to give you a heck of a deal on upgrades.
Yeah.
Mm.
When they went to subscription, they stopped that.
Yeah.
And
This was for
I didn't see
23.
much. I
Yeah.
didn't see much difference
Yeah.
from
This was
19 to
Corral
24.
23.
Oh, 23.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was 24, but it's 23.
The one I see is 24.
It's very
Yeah, I see 24 as well.
Yeah.
okay. Maybe
It's-
I'm
yeah.
wrong.
Standard 24.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed that there weren't many changes between 19 and 24.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just really surprised. Now, you say there's not too many changes, but I think I was like, 2008 girl. I'm
Well,
certainly-
There was a lot of changes
yeah,
then.
there's a lot of changes.
Yeah. In their defense, maybe they did some improvements to the sub program. I
Mhm.
mean, the view of it, I don't see any difference. If I took a screenshot of 19 and a screenshot of 24, I don't see anything. But perhaps they've improved the baseline software or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I know they emphasize what they were emphasizing on. Cause I started upgrade to I think 24. I started because I'm on what I'm on. I'm on 20. It was something specific that I saw that they made a change, and I was thinking, that might be. But me and you, Milo, we use it mainly for lasering. I mean, I don't really go into a lot of illustration except when I'm doing, my props and stuff like that. So a lot of features I don't really use. Like I
I'm
don't,
using it for a powerful vector generator.
yeah. But I do crop out, I crop out pictures and stuff like that, remove backgrounds. I do that, but I don't use it like how they advertise in Corel with like that extravagant art.
Oh,
I use mine mainly for my laser.
when I first got Vetric, because I was so comfortable, I've been using Corel Draw since version 1.
Okay.
And so I was much faster in Corel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd save it out as an EPS, and every node placement was exactly the same in Vetric. And just because I was faster, and then I forced myself to learn Vetric instead of going back and forth. So I don't go back and forth very often anymore.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I got a laser project that I could also use on Vetric, you betcha. I'll go back and forth.
Is there a Corel laser?
Mm-mm.
I think there's a There used to be a Corel CAD and a Corel.
It
I
is.
believe they
it
used to have
is
a Corel laser.
Corel Designer.
I think this is Corel Design as
Did,
well.
did
Yeah,
you-
there was a Corel CAD also.
it's a
Here, I'm
Corel
I'm
CAD.
I'm gonna share the screen real quick.
Okay.
I wasn't originally gonna do this, but I am.
I used to have Designer, but Designer is Designer looks like regular Corel Draw, but it doesn't function like Corel Draw. It's almost just like CAD. It's just almost like CAD.
Mhm.
I think it
Yeah.
was something different. It was just something. It was small differences between it because I had to stop using it because it was throwing off like my files.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Corel CAD was designed for doing the CAD. It actually put in dimensions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say they dropped one of those just recently.
Yeah, they dropped CAD. So
Mhm.
I guess their designer probably had the same thing. They had you put in the dimensions and whatnots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe it'd been the same thing.
No, they did. They had different ones. It was
Oh, okay,
it
okay.
was Designer
so
and then CAD came after.
Well, and then
so
there was a 3D.
I'll yeah, y'all are done. I'll share the screen.
Oh, go share the screen. Share the screen.
No, because what you're saying is valid.
Yeah.
It's more fun to try to remember.
Yeah.
Got to exercise these brains.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
These ain't 18-year-old kids on this screen.
good point. Good point. So, as I'm trying to show you, um, on the Humble Bundles website, they have it broken down by games, books, and software. And under the software, which I've already clicked, are the deals. They don't have very many compared to games. Games, you'll be there all night. But
Right.
the one here that they have is for Corel Design with Corel Draw and Perfect and Photo. There's 5 days left on it. So there's 25 different things. So you get Corel Draw Standard 2024, Vector FX, Corel Painter, um, Vision, all this artsy fartsy stuff that I probably won't bother downloading until I need it or if I ever need it. And then there's Paint Shop Pro and everything. But I mean, look at these prices.
Yeah.
There was something about Corel Draw Standard that was not the same as the Corel Draw.
I think it's the fonts and it's the plugins.
Is that right?
Yeah, like my GraphTech plotter will not run off of standard because the GraphTech plugin won't it won't plug in. And I think like some of the clip art, like it does almost like Vectric and Expire. Like you don't get all the clip art in Vectric that you would in Expire.
And there was something else that I saw on Standard because I looked into it a few years ago. And there
Yeah.
was something that I needed for the laser that I was always using that it did not do.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
I can't remember what it was.
with all these different programs that they're bundling in with this thing, chances
Oh, yeah.
are
Yeah.
there may be a solution for you in here. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
nothing
but
about it.
yeah.
But
Well, I see a Corel Painter is 2023 there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking about, the 2023. The
Yeah,
others were
Corel Standard. The cheaper Corel had Visual Studio was missing.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
yeah.
The
Do you use all of that stuff?
No.
well, some of your softwares you have to have that plugin, the Visual Studio,
Mm-hmm.
for like for example, CoCut had to have it to run the CoCut plugin.
Oh, okay.
What's this? Wait a minute. Paint Shop Pro 23 and Vision FX. Learn professional graphics design software with vectors, technical illustrations, and CAD software options to design logos, posters, drafting, and more. Okay. Anyway, if this is something somebody can use, great. If not, you know,
That's
to
still
me
a
it was
good
worth.
that's a good deal. That's a
yeah, to me it was
Yeah.
worth.
Yeah.
It may not
Anyway.
have the Visual Basic in there.
I don't know.
I'd have to. That'd be a good question to know.
Well, you got 4 days to email them and ask.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Because I could use the updated one.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Games. All right. Disney collection. Ooh. Okay. I'm stopping now.
All right.
They got Doom.
I can't find it on my link here. I
Uh,
click under software.
did you use the link I sent you in the chat?
Yeah, I used the link you sent me, but I also went on myself, and I cannot seem to bring it up. But anyway,
Yeah. Hey, yeah, thank you, Ned, for telling
yeah,
me about that company that I didn't know about. That
Yeah.
Ned
Yeah.
has helped me with many things. Networking, as far as the internet's concerned. Um, helped me with choosing a hard drive for NAS uh, server. Um, this software, it's just, yeah. Ned's a wealth of knowledge. Sorry he wasn't here tonight. I could thank him.
Yep, I gotta thank him too. He helped me out last night on my computer. I mean, he went through it like a bat and got everything cleaned up, and I'm off and rolling again.
That's cool.
Yep. So
There
there
ain't
you
many
have it.
people that's willing to do what he done. I mean, it cost me $500 to take it to Best Buy and have it done.
And they don't know anything.
Yeah,
They ask you so many they ask you so many questions, you don't fix it yourself.
yeah, yeah.
a
I
friend of
know.
mine just took his computer to Best Buy, and they lost one of his hard drives. So
Oh my God.
Oh no.
but he
Nah,
got it back. He went to talk to the manager. They begged mercy for about an hour, and they finally found it in a box somewhere. And I suspect that it was conveniently lost in the box. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I,
He'll
I
get
think
it back and there won't be nothing on it.
I think I
but he
took
got all his stuff back. He was pretty upset. He was down there crying like a baby, moaning
Mm-hmm.
and groaning. And finally, the lady manager went in the back and looked. And she looked around and oh, here it is in one of the boxes. So maybe one of the techs decided to throw it into the box because it was a good place to hide it. Who knows?
Hard to
You
say.
just don't lose things, you know?
Yeah, I'll take out the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Well,
All right, fellas, I'll see y'all next week.
yeah, I was about to call it anyway. It's after 9.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate you guys being able and flexible to, change the night. And I hope you had a good time.
Yep,
We'll
That's
do it
because we
again.
love you.
You're the best.
Give that grandbaby a hug.
I will. I will. That's my job one for tomorrow. Uh, all right, guys. We will see you. I'll put links next week. It will be Tuesday at 7 again, and we'll see you then.
Alrighty, you guys have a
Thanks,
good day.
everybody.
All right,
Yeah.
take it easy.